Since the Super 12 started back in 1996, 3 teams have dominated this competition. The Blues were the early pace setters, but since then the Crusaders and the Brumbies have, with one exception, made this competition their own. The Crusaders have played in 5 finals for 4 wins, while the Brumbies have been in 4 finals for a sole victory in 1991. And tonight here in Canberra, they're at it again, the 2004 final. The Crusaders against the Brumbies. It's a lovely night here in Canberra. Certainly it's cool, but there's no wind, and the surface here at the stadium is an absolutely perfect condition. Capacity crowd, as you'd expect, with the best teams in the competition meeting. The Crusaders, of course, won their semi-final over the Stormers, and the Brumbies right here at Canberra Stadium beat the Chiefs last Saturday night. So it's a repeat of the 2000 final when the Crusaders dramatically won the title by just 1 point. And what a sight it is here too, as we await the arrival of the 2 sides in this 2004 final. There's been a lot spoken about how this game might pan out. The Brumbies have arguably been the best team in the competition in 2004, but that counts for very little when the whistle blows in just a few minutes' time, as Reuben Thorne now brings out the Crusaders. They know how to win here in Canberra too. They've been here 5 times and they've won 3 times. Well, just the one change in the Crusaders pack from last week, with Chris Jack back after sitting out the Stormers match. Jack gives the line-out height that was missing last week, and his experience of playing in big games will be vital as well. Captain Reuben Thorne is the only player in Super 12 history to have fronted in 6 finals. And Coach Deans has stayed with the same backline as last week, and it was obvious against the Stormers that Justin Marshall is a vital cog in the wheel. Marshall was outstanding, and one of his assignments will take some of the pressure off young Cameron McIntyre playing in his first final. Much too will depend on the performance of Dan Carter. His goal kicking in particular will be a key. So the Crusaders are the first team out there. There is the bench. Andrew Mertens continues to warm the bench. And one of the strengths over the years for the Crusaders has been their depth. There'll be some nerves there for sure, Murray Mixted, but, well, at least they know they've been down this track.
There will be some nerves. In fact, one thing that has surprised me is the comfortable confidence of the crowd. Just talking to people before the game, how many people in this crowd actually think that the Brumbies will win this game comfortably?
So here they come. Well, this time 4 years ago, a young George Smith came on as a replacement in the final and scored the Brumbies' only try. Tonight, as one of the most experienced team members, he goes head-to-head with New Zealand's outstanding number 7, Richie McCaw. Outside of Smith, there are no real stars in this pack. They just get the job done week after week. And Radeki Samo tonight plays his last match for the Brumbies. And Joe Roff has been something of an institution around these parts since his late teens, but tonight he bows out after an outstanding career. Roff is still 1 try short of equaling Christian Cullen's Super 12 try-scoring record, but I'm sure he'd forgo that to be part of a title-winning team. No Sterling Mortlock tonight. The Brumbies skipper replaced at centre by Joel Wilson. So there is the Brumbies team, and a little bit of depth too on the bench. Players who can come on and make an impact. No place in the starting 15 for David Giffen. There is Andre Watson, who has control of tonight's final. It's the 5th one that he's done. Jonathan Kaplan and Tapa Henning to help out. And the TMO is Mark Lawrence. Almost set to go. 2004 Super 12 final. Andre Watson, appeal on the whistle, and away we go. And the Brumbies can't get a hold of it. Marshall has it early, hands it back to Kopolani, and early possession here for the Crusaders, and they'll just patiently build up for sure. We'll go touchline in a moment to Tony Johnson and just check conditions as Dan Carter takes it back towards the heavy traffic. Now Marshall gets it off. Good tackle made on Caleb Ralph, and a ball turned over beautifully by George Smith. And Larkin puts the kick downfield. And it stays in the field of play. And Ben Blair, oh, he's missed it. Missed it completely. And they're over the line. And I think a try has been scored. Yes, it's been given. Well, Ben Blair had an air shot. And the try has been scored. It looks like Joe Roth. It is Joe Roth. And there's the equal to Christian Cullen. 56 tries. What a start.
What a dramatic start to this game. It looked like the ball was under control. Crusaders had it. As you said, Nisbo, they were going to build. But then there was the turnover. Here it was, right here. Caleb Ralph caught, isolated, in fact. George Smith freed the ball, and then it was just movement like they've done all season. Larkin through the hole, the kick ahead, and have a look at this. So close to the touchline. Ben Blair a little bit casual, perhaps. No perhaps about it. And Joe Roth, he knows where the try line is. Well, what a start.
What a start, Tony Johnson.
Nisbo, there's a pub in the middle of Canberra that was offering free beer until the first try of the game, starting with the kickoff, and I think they're in for a cheap night and probably a pretty convivial night if this keeps up. But I can tell you about the conditions. They are superb. It's a cool, calm, clear night here in Canberra. The only thing that might have a bearing on the game, the slippery conditions. There's been a heavy dew. But what a start for the Brumbies.
Just an incredible start. So Joe Roth attempts the conversion.
That's what you call BMT, big match temperament. Not only did he score the try, equaled Cullen's record, but he slotted the goal as well. Great footballer. Well, he is going to be a big loss to this franchise.
Yes, he bows out tonight, Joe Roth. And the Crusaders, a real setback for them. But they do have resilience, that's for sure. And they'll put that behind them. George Gregan, first time I think he's touched the ball in the match. Larkham slams it away downfield. Ralph is going to let it bounce and leave it for Blair. Joel Wilson makes a good tackle. Blair fires a shocking pass, putting real pressure on themselves here are the Crusaders. And the ball is going to be turned over. It's going to come the Brumbies' way fairly slowly, but Paul hands it back. Gerrard slipping, and they're just out from the 22. Just over 3 minutes gone in the final. Already 7-0. Gregan Wakes looking blindside to Paul. Now Smith back on the inside. Gerrard, and they're in again. Goodness me, Matt Gerrard.
Who would have read about it, eh? Absolutely incredible start. Brumbies, the crowd is going absolutely crazy. And why not? There are flags everywhere. He would be delighted, Gerrard, to get that opportunity one-on-one on the fullback, left him flat-footed. Well, it was a Ben Blair mistake again, but so often it's the way after you make a mistake, you try and put something on yourself when you get the opportunity. He had a go, didn't come off, threw a bad pass. All of a sudden, the Crusaders under huge pressure. And Gregan, well, he took the right choice. He went the short side. Quick hands through the backs, or the forwards as it seems. And Gerrard just opened it up. Look at him. Sidestep Blair and over.
The most dramatic start in a Super 12 final for sure. And they worked the blind side. Jeremy Paul was there. And Smith. And Gerrard still had a little bit of work to do. He's picked up his 8th try of the season. And a wonderful finish. And this is shattering stuff for the Crusaders. 2 tries scored inside the first 5 minutes.
If he goals this, it'll be absolutely remarkable.
Most people thought this was going to be a really tight final. Here's Roth's kick, and this time he just drags it away. 2 tries scored, 1 converted. Ben Blair's made a couple of errors, and the Brumbies out to 12 points to 0.
Well, I was just up in the crowd talking to a couple of the locals, and there was a sweepstake that came round that they asked to pick the difference between the 2 teams at the end of the game, and they were all picking 15, 17, 20 points, and I was shaking my head and laughing at them.
Owen Finnegan takes it in for the Brumbies. Probably can't believe their luck as Larkham slams it down. Blair just needs to settle down a wee bit. Here he goes, the kick and chase. Just pushed it a bit too far. Larkham comfortably inside his 22 with a fair catch.
Now that's the situation now. You see the Brumbies with a head start like that, they don't have to take any risks. They don't have to take a punt. So Larkham's just steadying the ship, isn't he? We saw that he first time received the ball straight after that try, kicked it downfield, takes the mark, finds touch again. Brumbies ball. They can play the percentages a certain amount, but it's not really their game.
Such great control over what the Brumbies are doing. I mean, when they kicked that ball down to Ben Blair, the chasing line was sensational. He darted across infield and then suddenly realised that the Brumbies had come across or come up in a really flat line and there was just nowhere to go, and there weren't that many Crusaders players back either.
First line out of the game, unbelievable, to be at 12 points to 0. No line-outs, no scrums. Been stolen here by Samo as he takes it downfield. Now Gregan. Boy, they're on fire early here, the Brumbies, as Finnegan sets it just out from the 22. Gregan waiting. Now he's got it to Larkham, to Gitto. Much better defence this time by the Crusaders. Been very slow to settle as
turnover.
Marshall, they turn it over. Heavy defence this time though by the Brumbies as Marshall has it disrupted by Larkham. And it's coming again for the Crusaders. McIntyre bangs it away down, but well read by Roth. Immediately puts his boot to it. And Blair takes the fair catch. Well, he's kicked it straight down the middle.
Let's give the ball back.
Here's Gerard, one try under his belt already in the match. Charging into Crusaders territory. Now Gregan. Back for Finnegan. Gitto. Good defence by Brad Thorne. Came up hard, very decisively. Now Larkham just settling it down. Well judged kick.
Yes, you talk about the defence by Brad Thorne. I was just thinking the Crusaders forwards haven't even had a chance in this game so far. They haven't had a chance to get into the game to make their mark. And that was probably Thorne's first opportunity.
Well, you'd swear that the Brumbies knew the line-out call there, the way Samo stepped in and took it. Let's have a look as Kopolani lines up the next line-out throw. Oh, he's got it just, though, as Chris Jack goes for a bit of a run, dragged down by Scott Favour. And the Crusaders have it. And the kick made by McIntyre is a good one, as Rathbone threatened to lose his footing.
So we've got 8 minutes gone, 2 tries, a conversion and 5 turnovers. Extraordinary.
Well, we've seen these sort of starts in major rugby matches in Australia before. Remember the test in Sydney a few years ago when the All Blacks rushed out to an early lead. And then the opposition settled down and came back.
Yes, there's a long way to go in this game.
First line-out throw by Jeremy Paul is a good one. Samo took it. Now it goes out to Wilson in midfield and he goes straight past his man.
On the ball.
But the Crusaders have got in here and very messy. And looks like the first penalty of the match is coming, and it's coming to the Crusaders. And I think they'll settle things down here, give Dan Carter an opportunity to get some points on the board.
Well, they'd want to kick it. I mean, it's a long kick. But I guess that would make them feel, well, psychologically much stronger. They only had 9 points in arrears. Only 9 points, I say, when they're 12 behind. So the ball just spat out.
Yeah, good work both times by Reuben Thorne. He just managed to get a bit on the ball when it went down in the tackle and then claim it the second time. I can tell you that the conditions out there probably aren't quite as good as they look on screen. I mentioned before, heavy dew. Already we've seen several players slipping over, and that's going to be more of a problem as the evening goes on. I guess about the only good thing about conceding 2 tries early on, it gives you a lot of time to catch up. But boy, what a great start for the Brumbies and what a jolt for the Crusaders.
Right, here goes Dan Carter, first kick of the night, and he's got the distance, but he's just pushed it. So Dan Carter, who's been kicking at 75% in the Super 12, misses his first shot here tonight, and it stays at 12 points to 0. Larkham with the restart. Richie McCaw chased down by Samo, having his last game, and there's a turnover just like that. Away goes Gregan. Again, it's Gerard down the left wing side. It's got support from Gregan. Back to Jeremy Paul. And hang on. Yes, no. Andre Watson had the arm up before the try was scored, but he's awarded it. Jeremy Paul gets try number 3.
Well, Gerard again, out free and easy, open. And he stepped Blair and kept the ball alive. Blair slowed him down, but this is where it all started. Under pressure, Richie McCaw caught the ball, was driven backwards, planted it. Very hard for the Crusaders to get round behind. Stolen by the Brumbies. Yes. Running
May have
sideways.
even been kicked forward by one of the Crusaders players.
So Gregan was the guy, the link man, after Gerard made the break past Blair.
Andre Watson had his arm out. He was playing an advantage. Put the arm out quite early before the try was scored. And in actual fact, it was an advantage for some reason. I think it was Marshall, yes, holding back Gregan just before he got the pass. But the advantage applied, and Jeremy Paul, who's been a real try scorer this season, that's his 6th in the competition. And can you believe this? 17 points to 0. And what have we been going? About 12 minutes. The kick is a good one. 19 to 0.
Well, I'd say all the Crusaders supporters that came across will be feeling pretty jolly quiet in the grandstand.
Well, this will be one of the great comebacks, even at this early stage. To be 19 behind after 12 minutes. Here's Owen Finnegan, captain of the Brumbies, in the absence of Sterling Mortlock. Now Gregan. Larkham. Marshall's hanging back, but it's into touch. Well, you remember back in 2000, there were only 2 tries scored in the match. And here we are, 12 minutes into it, and already 3 tries to the Brumbies. They're a try-scoring team, there's no doubt about that. They've scored 60-odd in Super 12 as Andrew Mertens looks on. McIntyre across to Carter. Now Justin Marshall, they'll need all his experience. As Tony Copolani, who's been a real standout player for the Crusaders this year. He wouldn't have thought at the start of the season that he would have been running out in a final, I'm certain, as Brad Thorne takes it across. But it is only a cross at this stage. Looking to get something going out wide as Aaron Major has it. 10 out from the 22. Marshall heaves it. Good hands from Caleb Ralph it was. He was lurking out on the right wing side. Ball again pops out for Marshall. Little change of tactics. Nobody running onto this though. Not a solitary player. As Roth belts it away downfield.
Great counter-attack opportunity here.
Blair though is going to kick it. Now that's not one of the world's great kicks either. Straight to where Gerard was standing.
He smashes it into touch. Well, they're doing everything right, the Brumbies. They'll be quite composed now. The pressure, the big match, the big final pressure, which affects so many teams. Of course, you can only judge teams when it gets to finals time.
Well, they've been there plenty of times before. 6th final for the Crusaders, 5th the Brumbies. McIntyre heaves it out into centre field. Carter straight across to Ralph. Going to have a go at Rathbone, but ducked by Wilson solidly right on the halfway line. Real scrap going on for it here, but it's there for Justin Marshall. Back again for McIntyre, out into centre field. Good charge by Somerville. Marshall looking away to his right.
It's a bit of an overlap there, I thought.
Again, the kick sits up nicely for Roth, and so far the kicking has been pretty average. Bill Young down and struggling.
Well, it's the first victory of any sort for the Crusaders tonight. Greg Somerville going into Bill Young, who went down and stayed down. But this is going to ask a different question altogether of the Crusaders. We know that in an arm wrestle, in a tight match, they've got what it takes to win those sorts of games. Have they got what it takes to win a game when they've given the opposition a 19-point head start?
It's a big call, all right, as Carter runs it up for the Crusaders. Ball's been lost forward, so a turnover. Here come the Brumbies again. Smith sold the dummy. Now Samo looks so good in open play. Look at him go. Now he hands it off again to Smith. Kick and chase. And
another try.
Another one. Gerrard's done it again. 2 tries, 4 to the Brumbies, 24-0.
Well, once again, a turnover started it. And all of a sudden, the Brumbies seem to be able to create space, develop an extra man or extra 2 or 3 men on occasions. And we saw it just there. Have a look at this. This was a turnover. George Smith exits with it. Sold a little dummy. Inside pass. Samo beats Marshall. Ducks and dives. Smith again. That's the second time. The chip kick ahead by the open side. And the try.
Well, the players in the race there were Chris Jack and Greg Somerville. What a clever kick. Not the first time I've seen George Smith do this. And Samo was a big part of the build-up. Now have a look at Smith. Clever kick. And Gerrard coming from right of screen here. Chris Jack and Greg Somerville, the last line of defence, had no hope with the winger. And Gerrard gets his second. 24-0.
But that's 4 tries to the Brumbies, all coming from Crusaders' mistakes. Normally, you want to make this team work hard, sweat blood for turnover ball. They've given them the ball from 2 mistakes, 2 turnovers, and 4 tries have resulted.
And he's goaled it. Yes, well, you spoke about have they got the ability to come back, the Crusaders, Tony. And at the moment, it doesn't look like it because they've started kicking the ball and kicking the ball badly. And they're making mistakes as well, so the indicators aren't great at this stage of the match. The only thing that I feel at this stage, they'll feel they're so far behind that they have to use the ball, they'll have to move it and keep possession.
Well, that's right. I mean, the only way they're going to recover now, the Crusaders, is to score tries. And they haven't been a big try-scoring team this season. They've only got 39. They've conceded 43. Another one might be coming up here. Here's a chance for Wilson. He's got support. Ghetto. Another one. 5 tries have been scored. Ghetto gets one. It's 31-0.
It is an absolute landslide. Well, I'm just watching Eddie Jones's face. Just along from me, he's looking very, very relaxed and very, very comfortable.
Oh, the brilliance of Larkham, though. He looked at the inside channel. He saw Justin Marshall drifting wide, but he also saw Dave Hewitt there. He targeted him.
Judged the pass. This is great defence by Carter. He caught Jai Wilson and ankle tapped Ghetto, who slid over beautifully. Well, the talk before the game, particularly from the Australian commentators, was the defensive ability of this Crusaders side. This is the area they challenged. They were pulling up stats all over the place, talking about the Crusaders' defence, naming the weakness, the weak areas, and said this is where they'll be attacking. This is where the Brumbies will be attacking the Crusaders, and that's exactly where it is.
Well, this is just staggering. 33 points to 0. We've just reached the halfway point in the first half. And these guys are inactive at the moment. I wonder where the Robbie Deans might even be thinking this early stage of some changes. Anything, really. They're missing tackles. Look at that. Another couple of players missing tackles.
Well, it'll be the time to bring Mertens on, wouldn't it? The first 5-8, the pivot. And if any position changes the game or can change the flow, it's that pivotal position.
Penalty goes against the Crusaders.
Boy, this is bringing back memories of a match that was played between these sides. The next time they met after that final in 2000, they came over here for the start of the next season, and the Brumbies put 51 points on them. 51-16 they won. Well, if you lose like that in the opening game of the season, might not matter in the end. You don't want to lose the last game of the season like that, especially if it's the final.
Well, when you think how tight the final was in 2000, just a 1-point game. 20 minutes gone. Crusaders really up against it here. 5 tries conceded as Gregan clears it out for Larkham. Blair going back. Plenty of time, and he gets the fair catch. Now look, can he spark something, Ben Blair? They need to get something going here, the Crusaders. Now shifting it away towards the left, Major. Nobody really drawing any players, they're just passing it.
Yeah, it was like move the parcel.
Now Marshall quickly across to McIntyre. Copolani puts his head down.
Yeah, dead right. Takes out a couple of players and creates a little bit of space.
Not really committing too many tacklers at this stage as McIntyre goes in. Desperate dive by one of the Brumbies dislodging the ball. That's better. Quick hands from Broomhall. Here's a chance. Up the middle they go. McCaw looks for his support. Knocked down by Roth, and he knocked it on in the process. But at least the Crusaders getting some go forward. And a knock on by Roth as he slapped it out of the arms of Marshall.
Almost an intentional knock on. Oh no, he was sort of going for it, wasn't he? Well, that looked a little bit better. Interestingly enough, looking at the stats, the Brumbies have only won 42% of the possession. So they've won less than their share of possession, and they're 33 points up after 21 minutes. I mean, that is...
Well, have a look at this.
That's staggering stuff.
Have a look at this. Could be an early call-up.
Well,
you're on a bit of a hiding to nothing when you're called up at 33-0.
Well, exactly.
And you haven't played too many games in the Super 12. You wouldn't exactly be super fit, top edge, top confidence.
You'd want to be Houdini and Mandrake the Magician all wrapped up in one to come on and try and change the game at this position. Well, it's asking a lot of the man.
It is. He has a touch of those two things on occasions, though, Tony. But I think they need a steady flow of ball, Crusaders. They just need to hold on to it and just recycle it.
That's been the key, Murray, as I say. Those first 4 tries, all coming from mistakes by the Crusaders, normally so good at hanging on to the ball.
Okay, let's go.
First scrum of the game. 22 minutes gone as Broomhall sends an awful pass out to Blair. Now it's with Carter. And he's got the Brumbies for coming in on the wrong side. So advantage being played here by Andre Watson. Coming slowly for Marshall. Turns it back on the inside to McIntyre. Flipped the pass to Somerville. But there was no advantage there. So a penalty for the Crusaders. Now I reckon at 33-0, you'd flag away kicking goal already.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's got to be kick it out near the goal line and try a score.
Yes, it's got to be tries. Looks like Mertens is definitely going to come in. This won't be injury related, Tony.
No, it can't be.
Well, this is a fine time to call on one of your better players.
Yeah,
well, I've been harping on all season about Murray, so I might as well get it off my chest.
Yeah, well, I have too. I mean, I just can't believe that he hasn't been playing.
Well, that's a huge disappointment, though, for Cameron McIntyre.
You wouldn't exactly say that McIntyre's been at fault for what's happened so far either.
No, you would not. So here come the Crusaders. 5 metres out from the line. Marshall gets his first pass to Mertens. Mertens fires it wide. Brumbies up quickly in defence, though. Looking for a turnover. They're going to get it. And they've got advantage as well. Roth is just near his own 22. And back it goes for Gitto. Not out. Taken down by Ralph, who's gone back. The kick and chase. And Larkham's going to have to come forward. It was a good kick, but he did it well. And he cleared it off to Joe Roth once more. And the Brumbies playing with some composure. Quickly thrown, though.
Well done.
By Mertens. Marshall heaves it across to Blair. Brumbies are pretty good defensively. And they've come up in a line and snuffed it out right on the halfway. Away goes Justin Marshall again.
There's numbers.
Major away to Broomhall, calling Carter, and now Chris Jack. Things looking better here. Jack fires the pass and got knocked back by a Brumbies player, so it's still okay as Richie McCaw takes it into the setup. Marshall for Mertens. Wide it goes for Carter.
Get away there, Jen.
That's the 22-metre line. Again, it's Marshall. Good pass by McCaw. Just starting to make some inroads into the defence now. Breaking the odd tackle and going to get a penalty as well. Back goes Finnegan for not the first time in the season. Now the Crusaders. Still 15 metres short. Marshall digs in. Mertens waits in jersey 21. Looks to bust through a tackle. The ball knocked away, but he was playing advantage again, Andre Watson. Crusaders looking so much better with the ball in hand. And they seem to have given away that aimless kicking that cost them in the first 10 minutes of the game. Jeremy Paul down.
So this is a sitter of 3 points. Would you take 3 points, Nisbo?
No.
No, you'd kick it out, take the line out?
Oh, I think you have to at this stage.
Or the scrum, perhaps. No, it'll be the line out. And the throw will be on Chris Jack. And the big drive, no doubt. It seems to be the logical thing to do right on the goal line.
Well, Owen Finnegan, what a shame to see him coming out of the back of a maul like that.
But what a great campaigner he has been.
Oh, yes.
Over the years.
Yes, indeed.
Frustrates opposition, breaks the advantage line. He's made an impact in the game. But you're not unhappy to see him reaching the end of his career, you think, Nisbet?
Oh, well, you live by the sword, you die by it. There's Andrew Mertens. He lost the ball here, but there was advantage being played.
It is quite an end of an era for this Brumbies side. I mean, Finnegan's a guy who is intending to stick around, and so are Gregan and Larkham, but there's Jeremy Paul. There's doubt over whether he'll be here next season. Radiki Samuel, that's a real surprise, the fact that he signed up for 2 years to go to Newcastle. Joe Roth, who's perhaps been identified as one of the ringleaders in the player power thing here. After all that, they got rid of the coach and he's going. And so quite a few familiar names. David Giffen, another one, who aren't going to be around. And they wanted to do the right thing by those players tonight.
Yep, so far so good, I guess.
Well, one against the throw. Incredible number of turnovers in this game so far. 11 to the Brumbies and 4 to the Crusaders. An indication itself that the Crusaders still dominating possession on 60%.
Kopolani this time goes short to Brad Thorne. Crusaders just a matter of 17 or 18 metres short. Mertens. Major makes ground inside the 22. Marshall. Again, Mertens looking to force his way through the gap.
Well, he had no option. The line was up.
Reverse by Major. Hands it off to McCaw. Makes good ground, Richie McCaw. Now, Marshall heads off. Throws the pass short to Greg Somerville. Defence holding up, though. Somerville channels it nicely. Now Mertens hands it on. Taken down by Caleb Rolfe, it was. Another penalty. And with the Crusaders getting plenty of ball in hand, Richie McCaw having a bit of a go here.
Yeah, I don't know what started it, but obviously Richie McCaw reacting to something.
Not quite sure who was up against there.
Not like Richie McCaw. The only punch I think I've ever seen him throw on a rugby field was when that bloke came on the field in Durban, Nisbo.
Yeah.
It was a good one too.
It was. Was that Stephen Larkham? I think it was Larkham on McCaw. And Jonathan Kaplan is going to make his report.
Number 6 white.
That's right.
It's happened a couple of times.
Yes, I know.
Saw number 7 red come through and shoulder 10 from white. They then punched it.
Yeah, that's right. But I just want to talk to both of them. Okay, it's a long speech. 2 captains, please. 2 captains, please.
We're going to listen to a long speech.
Number 6.
It's very nice.
No, number 8. The one I penalised last. And 10 white and 4 red.
Try again.
Well, Richie McCaw's out of it. I can't work that out.
Yeah, he's not involved apparently.
You two, just stop your nonsense, okay? And you came from nowhere. None of that. Just get out of it. If you do that again, just pull your heads in. Just relax. Right.
Well, Brad Thorne doesn't know how he got involved. He was nowhere near it.
I've asked at least 3 times, take your hands off it. If any white shirt kills the ball again, he's going to go walkies. All right. Calm the boys down. Calm the boys down. Penalty against you for killing the ball. No, it's not. It's not. It's not him. It's 6 and 8. The numbers look the same. It's 6 and 8. I've got it. Don't worry.
You know, pull your head in number 1. Go walkie. Go walkie. Oh, that was a good one.
So they take the dog out.
Yeah.
Calm the boys down.
So I think the penalty was given originally. So it's right on that 5 metre line.
Okay, you ready? Go back, go back, go back.
Crusaders look as though they want to set a scrum here. Well, it's been all the Crusaders in the last 10 minutes. And we're seeing a different side of the Brumbies here. They're a good defensive team too.
And a bit more pattern coming from the Crusaders.
They were just shell-shocked in the first 15 minutes of this game. Now the ball snapped off the back of the scrum by Broomhall. Brumbies getting a little bit lower in the maul. Now it's a question of where the ball is.
Yeah, exactly. There's a bit of yardage going forward here. The ball's at the back, it's safe.
It's controlled, and there's also a penalty coming.
So more numbers going in behind the ball.
Yeah, George Smith should be off to the bin here.
I won't have that. You heard the whistle, mate. I need positive stuff right now. Owen, right now. Or I'll deal with everything. Right now.
Well, Andre getting a little bit agitated.
It's quite different.
Which is probably not a good thing from a referee.
You want scrum?
No, it's not.
But did he not just say that the next professional foul or the next...
Number 7, pulling them all down.
I thought someone was going walkies if that happened.
Well, no, I think he was talking specifically about stopping the ball from coming back. In other words, killing the ball on the deck. It was a different situation. But it would be a shame if the game deteriorated and players were sent off. Well, that reminds me of the old days. We obviously got a little bit of a nudge.
Line out. Taken down by Jack. Feeds it off to Brad Thorne.
Beautifully tackled by
Goal
George
line
Smith.
is right there. You get a feeling that the try is coming shortly from the Crusaders.
Yes, it does.
Forcing their way close. And they've given it, yes. Try scored. Looks like Richie McCaw. Yes, it is. Well, thank heavens for that. The Crusaders have finally hammered away and got themselves a try. It wasn't pretty, but it's 5 points.
Well, the look of a desperate rugby player. You can see it on Richie McCaw's face, the intense concentration. Well, it was well worked. They drove around the side and just the weight of numbers. But the key, of course, was McCaw kept his body position facing the goal line. That's what you've got to do that close. And then you've got a chance of getting down low underneath the defence. And that's exactly what happened. So many players turn when they get to that position for the fear of losing the ball, of course. But McCaw, he had his sights on the goal line. And he was hoping that he got a little bit of a helping hand from behind. But on that occasion, I think it was McCaw by himself that thrust himself over, as we saw on that last replay.
Conversion from Dan Carter. And so 33 points to 7 now.
So they'd desperately like another try before half-time.
Well, they need it, don't they? 9 minutes remaining first half. Oh, the ball turned over immediately. This has been half the problem, more than half the problem for the Crusaders tonight. They've given the ball to the Brumbies inside their own 22, and Gregan spins it wide for Ghetto. Now Larkham looking to put Wilson into the gap. And he's well taken. Ball spills back, though. Larkham, he's well covered on the blind side. But the Brumbies have this incredibly patient build-up. Away goes Ghetto. He slips it to Finnegan. He's the man who takes it up for them, makes a couple of metres, sucks a few of the opposition in. Better defence here by the Crusaders. They're now driving into the tackles. Gregan waits again. Gerard, who's a powerful man. He's got across from the left wing side.
He's 6'4", 100 kgs.
Larkham is going to bomb it away. Oh, lost again. Snapped up by Joe Roth. They lay it back.
From behind, that's fine. Still advantage.
Now Young. Goal line beckons again. They've already got 5. Samo has a go. He's driven back. Desperate defence. Gregan calling on the inside for Finnegan. And he lost the ball as he went to plant it. And they are saved for the moment. It was Jeremy Paul.
Is that a change of fortunes?
Well, I think it was Finnegan with the ball. Paul was there with him.
The first bit of luck perhaps go the Crusaders' way.
There's the old 1-2, that flip pass from Gregan to Finnegan. We haven't seen so much of that in the last couple of years. Of course, it was just so synonymous with the Brumbies in the early stages of their existence.
Sterling Mortlock, well, the leg's not too bad when you can jump around like that.
He's got the big brace over the top of the suit.
Right on.
Marshall on defence. Scrums out. Oh, ball is out, says the referee.
Scrum under pressure.
Or it was out. It's gone back. And they do clear it through Mertens. A hurried kick. Sits up nicely for Roth. Needs some support to get back. He's pretty slow in getting there this time. And the Crusaders have kicked him up off the ground to try and get a maul going here. But now they've laid it back nicely.
Advantage wide.
Playing advantage again. Regan goes for a drop kick, knowing that he's got the advantage.
He wanted the penalty.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the Brumbies do here.
No, they'll kick it. I'm sure they'll kick it.
There's like 3 incidents there.
It takes up time. It gives them a chance to stabilise. The other people holding all the points on the board.
Well, if you took the first 15 minutes out of this game, it'd be quite a contest, wouldn't it?
Well, of course, the psychology enters into it. The Brumbies are so far ahead. One gets the impression that they won't want to make as much play. Oh, hang on. Well, they've just proved me wrong. They've actually kicked for the touchline, wanting to score a try.
Well, I think they fancy their chances inside the 22. They breached the defence 5 times. And if they can do it again before half-time, boy. So Jeremy Paul, there haven't been a lot of lineouts, haven't been a lot of scrums. Dragged down by Mark Chisholm. Now Gregan, he's got Smith there with him. Smith tries to drag Marshall away, but now they've cleared it. Mertens puts it on his left boot. Roth going back. But the Crusaders have got themselves out of trouble for the moment. Blair. Marshall tells them to belt it away downfield because Roth's out of position. And he's done well, but it's going to sit there, and it'll be a 22 dropout when Joel Wilson finally puts it down. 6 minutes to go, first half. Final of the Super 12. And the most unbelievable start to this game when the Brumbies got out to 33 points to 0 after 20 minutes. Larkham's kick, a nudge in the back, I thought, for Chris Jack. As Gerard snaps it up. Regan, Larkham, flat pass, but not a good one. Rathbone's knocked it on. He still hasn't got control of it. And it pops clear into the arms of Ralph.
Oh, he did well though, Ralph, trying to keep the ball alive.
Now Blair. And that's an awkward pass. Mertens can't control it. So back to the original knock-on from Clyde Rathbone, who surprisingly hasn't seen a lot of play. It's gone the other way.
I was surprised with that kickoff, the last 22. Larkham kicked it long and high, and there was only one Crusader really underneath the ball, so irrespective of what happened, when he fielded the ball, he was going to be driven backwards. And obviously the ball would be turned over, which is what happened. So they're always using their heads. The Brumbies are always watching, seeing the opportunities. There's so many decision makers and facilitators in that back line when I look at them. Larkham, Gregan, Gitto, Roth. Vunnenberg, you'd hardly seen him on the field. Is that Corey Flynn?
Corey Flynn's on the park too. So 2 changes made by Robbie Deans before half-time, Tony. Good call.
2 All Blacks sitting on the bench.
Try and do something.
Engage. That's good. Thank you, guys. Let's go. Let's go.
Cleared away by Marshall for Andrew Mertens. Slips it back on the inside for Aaron Major. Makes good ground. A 10 out from the 22. Important 5 minutes here as Jack heaves it out into centre field for Carter. Carter is taken down by Gitto. Now here is Corey Flynn. Right on the 22, Marshall. Mertens looking at a gap on the inside, flicks it back on to Sam Broomhall. And now Marshall works blindside. Left behind by Caleb Ralph, but he recovered. Wasn't knocked on. Crowd didn't like it, but I think it's a fair call. Crusaders bouncing back. McCaw dragged down 5 metres short.
Oh, it's got to go left.
It does. Mertens. Vernon Barker flips it on beautifully, and they do get a try. Aaron Major. Clever stuff from Vernon Barker. Looked like he'd lost control of it, but he flicked it on. And the Crusaders slowly working their way back.
Aren't they? Aren't they just? That gives them a little sniff, just a little one. If you look at it, 12 points with a possible 14. Well, it's certainly taken more shape since Mertens has been on the field. Is it coincidence? May well be.
Well, he's been involved 3 times in this, because just before that you saw him take that little inside channel and then the pass to Vunnenbacher, which probably should have been a scoring pass, and in the end they got it wide. But Mertens involved 3 times in a quick succession.
Well, what I think he does so well, Tony, is he can read whether he gives a short pass or a long pass. He can see the defenders coming up in a line, and so often we see him miss a player or miss 2 players, giving the outside gap, taking out those defenders. I think that's one of the great areas of his game, his vision. And that's over.
That's a wonderful kick from Dan Carter. He converts the try scored by Aaron Major. And the Crusaders fans, well, they haven't had much to cheer so far tonight. Finally now finding their voice.
Well, they're back in the race, aren't they?
Well, they are back in the race. Long way to go yet, though. So 33-14.
One of the keys, really, I mean, we talk about Mertens coming on, but it's more basic than that, isn't it? The Crusaders have just stopped giving the ball away.
Although the turnovers are 14-7, Tony, so the Brumbies are still working their way in that area.
Yeah, but a lot of those came very early on in the game, Murray, and they were costly ones.
Yeah, they punish. This team, the Brumbies, they certainly know how to punish mistakes.
Couple of minutes to go. Marshall has a little bit of a snipe. Mertens is running that inside channel a bit and making ground too. Up it goes to Dave Hewitt, and they're working their way back towards halfway. Here comes Marshall again. This time he's dragged down by his old mate George Smith as Flynn. One of 2 replacements that Robbie Deans has made in this first half. Vunnenbacher sends the pass. Carter steps nicely. Got inside a couple of players. Left it for Marshall. Starting to look like the well-oiled machine that they've been for so long, the Crusaders. It's taken a while as Blair scampers down towards halfway. Chris Jarrett. Mertens thought about the kick, then the change of mind. Worked it back for Ben Blair. Opens up, straight up the middle he goes. And the ball knocked down by Sam Broomhall. Just a little bit of confusion there. I think Broomhall and Vunnenbacher, neither were really sure who was supposed to take the pass.
Vunnenbacher's ball, and I think you were looking at another one, another try.
Vunnenbacher get a hand to it, yeah.
Well, maybe not. Roth was there.
There goes the siren indicating half-time is with us, but Andre Watson wants to put one last scrum down. Boy, what a final so far. 7 tries scored already in the final. 33-14.
We've got a scrum. We've got a scrum. Crouch and hold. Just go down. Engage. Thank you.
Just the 5th scrum of this game. Larkham puts his boot to it. And it bounces into touch, and that might be enough. Yes, it is. End of the first half. What a sensational 40 minutes it's been. The Brumbies totally dominated the first 15 to 20 minutes. They ran up 33 unanswered points, but the Crusaders, as you'd expect them to do, have come back. They've scored a couple of tries of their own, and at half-time in the final, 33 points to 14.
Quite unbelievable start to this game. Shattering for any Crusaders supporters, and probably many of those people sitting behind television sets in New Zealand. But the Brumbies, they just took every little bit of opportunity. Admittedly, the Crusaders handed them plenty in that first 5-10 minutes, but to score 5 unanswered tries right at the beginning of this game before the Crusaders, well, they pulled back a little bit of respect in the last 20 minutes. They actually dominated possession, and then they finished off with 2 tries. So 19 points in arrears. They're not out of it, but
a hell of a long way to go.
Well, yes, absolutely. Some comeback it will be if they can do it. So half-time, 40 minutes gone. The Super 12 final of 2004. The Brumbies lead the Crusaders 33 points to 14. Canberra Stadium, half-time in the Super 12 final, and the Brumbies, after their electric start, they led 33 points to 0 at one point, and at half-time 33 points to 14. 7 tries scored in the first half. Let's go sideline now with Tony Johnson.
Thanks, Nisbo. Well, with me, All Black and injured Crusaders hooker Mark Hammett. Mark, terrible start to the game for the team. I mean, do you feel that they have got themselves back in the reckoning?
Yeah, last 15 we sort of come back and we're not lucky. They worked hard to get those 14 points, but really needed it. If we didn't have that, we're right up against it. And now, still a hard task, but at least we've got a sniff. And if we come out and have a good first 20, game on hopefully.
I guess it's imperative that you get first points on the board in the second half.
Yeah, it is, and hold on the ball. I mean, they got 3 tries through turnovers and 1 from a mistake, but I mean it came from excellent pressure from the Brumbies. So I'd like to see us sort of keep it close as we did in that last 15, and hopefully we keep getting that go forward and get behind that defence, because they spread it very well, but they're probably a bit shallow in behind. So we'll see what happens.
Okay, thanks for talking to us, Mark.
No worries, thanks, Steve.
It's a long way back for the Crusaders if they want to lift the crown in 2004, but they're just the sort of team that could do it. And we saw in the last 10 minutes just what they're capable of. Down by 33 points to 0. They've clawed their way back into it. Andrew Mertens has been on the park for the last 20 minutes, and they've scored a couple of converted tries. They've given themselves some hope. 33 points to 14. And really, there's been so many talking points surrounding this final already, Murray.
There certainly has. In fact, I was just talking to Phil Kearns, one of the Australian commentators. We sit right next to them and we're able to converse at halftime a little bit. And he said to me, as a classic comment, this game is not over, and hasn't it changed since Mertens has been on the field? Quite extraordinary. So they don't think it's over. I don't think it's over, but it's a big ask.
It will be one of the great comebacks if they can do it. Some grim faces still on the bench. A couple of those players have been substituted already.
So it'd be interesting to hear the team talks, respective team talks at halftime.
Andre Watson checking with the Crusaders. They're ready. So are the Brumbies. Second half is underway. Larkin with the restart. Marshall calls for it. And Justin Marshall, one of the senior players in the team. So inspirational in the semi-final last week. They're going to need players like him to stand up in the second half. Mertens bangs it off downfield. Scott Favour for the Brumbies, crashing his way in right on the halfway line. Now the ball goes back to Smith. Got his kick in, did it cleverly too. Rathbone going back with Marshall. Rathbone got his foot to it, so this will be Crusaders' ball.
Well, Musafora would have been saying to his team at halftime, we have to score first. You can't let a team like the Crusaders get back into the second half. They're a championship-winning side.
Don't line your people up front.
You can't give them a sniff. So I would say that the Brumbies will be hell-bent on scoring. And the Crusaders, of course, they've got no option. If they don't score first, they're going to come second.
Corey Flynn. First line-out throw of the second half. Well taken by Brad Thorne. Back it goes, but there's a whistle. And it's not straight.
That's a tough call, that one. I thought that was well taken. Timing was good. Clearly beat his opponent.
Not straight, mate. Crouch and hold.
Well, he had to reach across. It was on the inside arm.
That's good. Okay.
Tough call, all right.
Marginally on one side, I guess.
Favour snaps it up for the Brumbies. Regan away for Larkin. Early test here for Blair, but he should be comfortable under this. Oh no, he's not, and it's jumped up and Gerrard scores. Poor old Ben Blair, he's having a nightmare night, and it just sat up for Matt Gerrard, and the try is conceded.
Well, it's one of those kicks, isn't it? They definitely targeted Blair on that occasion. They put it high in the air and he had to climb in the air to catch it. or wait and try and take the mark at the same time. He chose the former. He chose to jump in the air, misjudged it, and the ball just set up for Gerard. Have a look at this. It's a beautifully placed kick. Gerard onside. So the heat comes on.
It looked like a comfortable take. He had it lined up. Gerard had to wait, and he just missed it. And presented Matt Gerard with his third try. And he now becomes, as the try is converted, equal try scorer, top try scorer in Super 12 with his injured captain, Sterling Mortlock, 10 for the season. And that's just what the Crusaders didn't need, Tony.
It was a fantastic chase by Gerard. He really belted after that. And you have to wonder what's going through poor Ben Blair's head, because he knows they're targeting every kick that goes up high. It's got a message. This one's for you, Ben, and we're after it.
Finnegan takes it in and sets it. Larkham, well, they can play the percentages.
Well, that's right, because they've definitely got no pressure on them at the moment. Having scored that, they drift ahead.
Hold the mark, please.
26 points ahead, is it?
Hold the cap.
Flynn. Oh, this one's been spoiled by Samu. That's clever.
Brilliant.
Got it away for Paul. Now Gregan. Larkham, he's going to kick again. Blair having to scuttle across, but this is going to go into touch. And they really are on a roll. They've started both halves so strongly.
Outstanding play by Samo. That's the third line out against the throw that the Brumbies have won. But just the way he took the ball, those big hands leant forward and made it available again.
Boy, they must have offered him some money from Newcastle. The Brumbies would have been hellishly keen to keep him here.
He's had a great season, no doubt about it.
Well, when you consider they lost Harrison and Vickerman last season, they had to replace those 2 test locks, and they've got through the season with Samo and Chisholm, and Giffen has just sat on the bench most of the season. An incredible effort, really. Now the Crusaders trying to work out there towards the 22.
Well, stick together, I guess, is the call now. Let's hold possession. One thing you can't do is you can't score tries if you haven't got the ball.
Marshall gets it off to Mertens. Rathbone keeps it in.
Kick, but there's no pressure on the kick at all.
Rathbone ran it back 30 metres. No Crusaders chases. You're dead right.
It's gone. It's coming. It's coming.
It's coming, but it's slow. Larkham's going to kick again. Doing a fair bit of kicking. Now here's Mertens. Can't get away from 2 or 3 Brumbies players. Smith there. Now Marshall. Brad Thorne heaves it out into centre field. Carter. Major puts his boot to it. Well, pretty aimless. I don't know whether that's the right move from the Crusaders. They've got to keep the ball in hand now, I would think.
Have to counter-attack.
Just a game of force back at the moment. Gerard got it on the second take. He's going to go straight ahead. Finally runs into 3 or 4 Crusaders.
And a turnover.
Great tackle by Brad Thorne.
Was indeed. Blair plays halfback. Marshall gets it away into centre field. Major. Carter hasn't really been able to stamp his mark on the game here tonight. Just hasn't had the opportunities. As Marshall gives it off to Mertens.
Oh, beautifully placed.
Joe Roth would love this to go out. He's oh yeah, just.
Only just.
He hasn't really got a right boot, Joe Roth, so he would have been well and truly cornered if they had to kick that.
Well, beautifully placed, puts pressure on the Brumbies line. Where will they throw it? What will they do? Well, I guess Sama seems to be the man of the moment at the moment.
So pressure throw here for Jeremy Paul.
So Chris Jack watching his opponent.
Oh, tip back. Loose ball chance.
Advantage, we're not straight.
Marshall almost got there. They're having a crack at the line here, the Crusaders.
Still advantage here.
He's playing advantage.
I'll be gone.
Now it's McCaw, just a little bit upright, driven back.
Tackle back, scrum, not straight in the line out. No advantage.
So the throw wasn't straight.
Red ball.
Well, he was playing advantage, obviously.
Casey Laulala.
So who's he going to take off?
Both sides.
Well, he may be dropping someone back to fullback, maybe Aaron Major.
Still, right.
Ben Blair's confidence probably shattered. Breaks down at the base of the scrum. Merton's put under enormous pressure. But they've still got it, the Crusaders. That's the important thing. Cleared off. Mertens turns, hands it to Chris Jack. Now Ben Blair comes skirting around and finds a gap up the middle this time. Crowd thought there was a bit of shepherding going on there, but I don't think so.
Last feet,
Major
just there. Thanks.
lays it back. They've still got the ball. They're not making any forward progress. Here's Reuben Thorne crashing his way in. Marshall to Mertens. Now Blair. Marshall again keeps working the blind side for Brad Thorne.
Last feet, gentlemen, stay there.
Marshall has a quick look, surveys the opposition. Mertens heaves a pass wide. Trying to put the kick through and it bounces off a Brumbies boot. Larkham, I think. And into touch.
Well, there was a try for the taking there. They weren't quite able to get it. Had 2 or 3 cracks at the line.
Good defence though, Murray. I mean, we've seen the Brumbies able to create points through pressure. They've created tries, and they've also shown what has made them the best defensive team in Super 12 this year.
Corey Flynn goes deep. Oh, he's overthrown it. And snapped up by George Smith for the Brumbies. Another turnover. Gitto brought that under control. Not sure how he did that. And that's
Great
outstanding
skills.
play.
Great skills.
Matt Gitto, one of the real up-and-comers in Australian rugby.
Yes, he controlled a loose pass and turned around and smacked it out 35, 40 metres. So back to where it all started from the line out. Corey Flynn trying to find the tail.
Just a little sequence there of throws that have gone wrong. And here's another one. Corey Flynn looking at Jonathan Kaplan as if to say, well, how do you reckon that was offline?
The straight's the
Well,
first
I think
mistake,
that one
gentlemen.
was.
It's not straight. Crouch and hold.
Certainly not straight. So the Brumbies, will they move it? 40 points
Engage.
to 14
Right,
up.
let's go.
They only know how to move it, really. Well, no, that's not altogether true because
Well, how do we do it
Larkham
quicker?
has been kicking a fair bit.
What's up?
Well, they probably figure they don't need to
Both of
take
you.
any
Keep the
risks.
shoulders up, please.
They can afford to play the game inside the
Thank you.
Crusaders half. See if there's a change of policy here. Scrum goes down, quickly cleared though. Here goes Larkham. Yes, he's going to do it again. Definite policy here of playing it deep inside the 22. Blair brings it back. And this is a big call. He's surrounded by Brumbies players. Ball pops back, controlled. Here's Chisholm having a go. Another turnover ball. Blindside they work it. Bill Young spins out of one tackle. They're only 15 metres short. Now it's heaved away by Roth to Larkham. Looking to throw the long pass, Larkham. They finally put him to ground. He ran a long way. As it's taken by Smith, he gets the pass off to Roth again. And they'll have to start all over again from just out near the 22. And offside.
And in the middle.
Well, he's got Andrew Mertens for back chatting here.
I just stood there. This is where it happened. Good try. Good effort. Good try. Okay. No, he says shot at the touchline. He was just joking. All right. No, he's serious. Shot.
Bit of miscommunication there. Owen Finnegan ordered up a shot at goal and Andre Watson didn't believe he was being serious.
Well, he was sort of pointing at the same time towards the touchline. He was saying shot and pointing towards the touchline, I think.
Well, I guess you can afford to have a joke with the referee when you're leading by as many points.
I would think.
Andrew Merton's got March 10 for something he said.
Well, he was questioning the offside decision, and he and Andre Watson have had disagreements in the past, and Andre Watson gave him 10 metres to think about it.
Well, Tony, if we trace the origins of this, again, it was turnover ball, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's been one of the keys to this game.
Here's Joe Roth, just to add insult to injury, but he's not able to do so.
22, restart.
Well, absolutely. I mean, it's the Brumbies have actually turned over the ball 19 times, but a lot of those have been through desperate attacking opportunity, well, not opportunities, but
here's the change coming, Murray. It is Casey Laulala for Ben Blair, and that probably means that Aaron Major will have to drop back to fullback. Laulala's just gone over and spoken to him. Ben Blair, or
Mertens to fullback, perhaps.
Well, no, it's going to be Major, but a night that Ben Blair won't want to remember.
So the restart is regathered by Thorne, Reuben Thorne for the Crusaders.
Step back, number.
Just 13 minutes gone. Second half as Mertens puts his kick away.
Thank you. Okay, go.
Now Rathbone, who backs himself to have a go. Pretty powerful sort of a runner. He takes a few forwards on and clears the ball. The Brumbies have got to play it down. I think it's Samo who's on the deck.
It is.
Hold it, Mark, Johnny.
And this kick has gone dead. So they can go all the way back to where it was kicked from. So there's concern here for Samo. As Ben Blair looks on, his night is over.
Well, he just kept trying so hard to do something right in this game, and it was just one of those nights it all went horribly wrong right from the very first moments of this game when he took that fly shot at the ball, tried to hack it into touch and missed it. Just seems the harder he tried, the worse it got.
Well, look at that. He's kicked a lot, Stephen Larkham, but there's a policy here in the second half. They are going to play the game in the Crusaders' territory. No point in risking anything at 40-14.
Well, it's selecting your options is the key for the first 5/8 position. Absolutely vital, and you'll see on those stats there, he's kicked it 11 times, only run twice, and yet both times he's run, he's made big breaks. One of them, of course, finished with a try. So he's very carefully selecting his time to move, I guess. Time to attack. And here's his opponent, Andrew Mertens. Selection of options also the forte of Andrew Mertens. So possession favouring the Crusaders significantly, as well as territory just. But the scoreboard certainly doesn't show that.
Radeki Samo back in position.
Let's go.
Marshall, Mertens looking to work a move as in pass goes to Ralph. Now Marshall clears it out. Finnegan was so close to being offside it didn't matter. Corey Flynn puts his head down. Now Marshall, Mertens gets it off to Laulala already back in, and he managed to free the pass up. Now Marshall has an opportunity inside the 22. Crusaders having a good crack at it here.
Everybody onside.
Marshall must be tied up. Mertens has gone in. Now they get it wide. Reuben Thorne out to McCaw. Gets it back to his skipper. Thorne runs into a solid tackle by Samo. Ball is taken. It looked as though it had gone forward, but in fact it was ripped back by Samo.
Number 4 from the side.
But he stayed in there.
That's your name. From the side.
Quickly taken by the Crusaders. Ball knocked away. Referee's going to get them. They're not back 10 metres.
No, I'm happy to think. Knock on.
Well, in fact, it was knocked on by the Brumbies.
Red ball.
Well, Andre Watson getting a little bit of curry here.
One red, thank you.
Another change, Tony.
Yes, coming on in jersey 17, Chris King. And it'll be Dave Hewitt trudging off. Probably his last game for the Crusaders.
Okay.
Man who's given great service after starting his first-class rugby relatively late, but not ending on the note that he would have wanted Dave Hewitt.
Extremely late, I'd say. I think he was 29 when he first played.
Here's Reuben Thorne, another scrum move by the Crusaders.
Okay, now
They haven't given up hope, and why would they? They've cracked the defence twice.
Hands off now!
When they get this close to the line, they don't often miss out. Here goes Broomhall. Now Brad Thorne tries to wrestle his way over the line.
Just a tackle.
Justin Marshall digging deep.
It's underway.
Andrew Mertens has gone in to lend a hand as well. There's the ball.
Stay back.
Marshall looks away to his left. Again, big Brad Thorne gets it down. And that's the third try for the Crusaders.
Yes, he smashed it down emphatically, Brad Thorne. He's a powerful man. Well, some sort of control being exerted by the Crusaders here, stringing the phases together. That was 5 phases in all, and Brad Thorne taking his opportunity.
Absolutely thrilled about it too. He knows that it keeps the Crusaders alive. So they've matched that try that Gerrard scored just after half-time. And if this conversion goes over, we'll be back to the same position we were at half-time, a 19-point lead.
Yes, but only 23 minutes remain rather than the 40 at half-time.
There it is. It's over. Don't write them off yet.
A couple of changes coming up for the Brumbies. David Giffen about to come on for his last appearance in a Brumbies jersey, and he will replace Radeki Samo. Also on in jersey 17, Guy Shepherdson, and he will replace Nick Henderson. Well, Samo giving a big cheer to the crowd, big wave to the crowd. His last performance as a Brumbie tonight. He's been spectacular this season. He's a big loss to them.
Play resumes. We're not quite at the halfway point in the second half. 19-point lead. Mertens stabs the kick through, but Favour was waiting back for it, and he puts his kick through in reply. Fielded up by Marshall. Major, of course, back at fullback now, and that's a good clearance.
Just about took out the cameraman.
Clyde Rathbone was keen to get a hold of that and maybe throw it quickly, but he got tangled up with the cameraman. So there's David Giffen.
He was here day one for the Brumbies.
There's one or two of them out there.
Yeah, Joe Roth, George Gregan, Stephen Larkham was sort of on the fringes in the early days, but what a player he's been since then.
Bill Young, was he here?
Yes, he was.
Jeremy Paul goes short. Oh, it's been stolen.
George Smith too. So they've really kept their team together.
It was Brad Thorne with the line-out steal.
He's had a strong game, Brad Thorne, tonight. Maybe a little message to the All Black selectors that he's still in the hunt. Here they come again. Carter tries to breach the defence. Can't quite do it. Ball is loose. Now it's hacked away by Ghetto. Snapped it up. He's still got it. And they can set it here. The Brumbies out from the 22. Haven't got a halfback at the moment. Not sure where little George is. He's not at home.
Can't play it there.
And the penalty goes against the Crusaders.
Yeah, he held on. That's the second infringement. Check the angle where you guys come in. What's up? Shot.
Yeah, they didn't realise he had a bit of room to move there when he slipped over. Well, it was a nice move by the Crusaders, but the ball laid back and there was no one able to scoop it up. If Ghetto had toted ahead, he would have scored here. Slipped over, and it was a long time till a Crusader arrived.
Yeah, they needed a couple of players there with their heads down. Instead, it was all heads up.
So George Gregan, relatively quiet evening tonight.
Hasn't had to do much. When you think back on the game, the Crusaders provided the Brumbies with most of the points.
Yes, he's a bit of a real-life dichotomy, George Gregan, because he's such a small man in physical nature, and yet he has a big impact. His presence is felt on the field.
So here's Joe Roth. Second penalty attempt of the second half. And again, he's wide.
Restart, fellas.
So a couple of lapses by Joe Roth, but all eating up time, I guess. Under 20 minutes to go now. Mertens goes quickly. Drills it off down to Gregan. Larkin's got it. They've got Roth here with his left boot. And he's kicked it too far. Thought when it left the boot that it was just a little bit heavy. So they're just opening the door a wee bit here for the Crusaders.
Panicking, aren't they, Nisbo?
I think so.
Oh, I don't suspect there's a panic there. Well, maybe a little tentative, that was all.
This business of sitting on a big lead and letting the opposition come back at you. And Greg Somerville
well.
just slightly forward there. The ball was knocked on.
Not straight.
Oh, not straight again, goodness.
Well, errors though, that was certainly not quite straight, although he was a bit tough, but then it was knocked on as well, so.
Corey Flynn, like Andrew Mertens, has had very little rugby. So it's a pretty big call to get these guys into a final and expect miracles out of them.
It is, well, that's one of the risks, of course. It is unusual to go into the final of the Super 12 and have 2 All Blacks sitting on the bench.
Now, what does it work now? Use it!
Favour to Gregan, under pressure from McCaw. Got it away though, Larkham. Again, turning the players around. Clever kick. Major waits for it to go out. Fires it off to Ralph. And he's kicked it straight out.
It was a real irony. That throw was probably the most crooked of the night. It went undetected.
But the bottom line is, it turned around from a Crusaders throw to a Brumbies throw. So Brumbies on attack. Their backline really deep.
Untidy for Gregan. He has to somehow get it back, and he does so to Jeremy Paul. He makes a good, powerful run. Gregan's kick, well, that's straight down the throat of Ralph. He takes it smartly, looking to open it up. And they have got a bit of an overlap here if they shifted quickly. Mertens. Nice pass, Lala. Back to Vernon Barker, who hasn't had much space. They don't want to give him too much either. Boom. Dumped by Gerrard.
Absolutely dumped.
Reuben Thorne. Oh, Mertens gets hit hard too by Wilson.
All under control though.
Keep it up.
It's controlled at the back of the maul.
Andrew Mertens going in to add some weight to the rolling maul.
Don't go down. Keep it up.
17 minutes remaining.
19-point margin.
It's Red going down by themselves. Use it.
Now Carter spins it across. Major, who's running from the fullback position now. There's Justin Marshall, spins it wide. Reuben Thorne to the setup. Now Brad Thorne. Again Marshall.
From behind, from behind.
Getting some good go forward here, the Crusaders. Here's Brad Thorne. He's been outstanding in the second half.
That's 9 phases.
Somerville, he's got it under control.
He's isolated though.
Roll away, 13. Hands off. Going forward.
Well, they strung it together, 12 phases and all. Ended up 35 metres down the field with a scrum.
Prevented it just by his position. Couldn't come. He was on top of this man. And they went forward.
So George disputing whose possession. He said it was use it or lose it. And Andre Watson said that the Brumbies player had stopped the ball hitting the deck and that the Crusaders were driving forward. So Crusaders with an opportunity to attack from the scrum.
Marshall off for Mertens. Here's Laulala, powerful man, hard to put down, but Finnegan and a good aggressive tackle. Laid back though again for Justin Marshall.
There's Jack trying a little dummy.
Just there, just with me, fellas. Waiting. Okay.
Justin Marshall changing the attack this time. Could have called for a mark there, Rathbone. Didn't realise, I don't think, that he was actually inside the 22. And in the end, Roth. So the little kick from Justin Marshall, just a variation, didn't quite work out. And the Brumbies happy to get the ball back almost to halfway.
It's one thing the Crusaders haven't done all that well tonight is chase the kicks. When they have gone up, been a bit too easy for the men at the back to take them. Not under the sort of pressure that the Brumbies have put on the likes of Ben Blair.
Corey Flynn gets that throw right, and here come the Crusaders again. Mertens works it back to Laulala. Big defence from Scott Favour. Marshall. Broomhall sends it wide. Ralph having a bit of a go. Again, the defence holds up. The tackle made by Joel Wilson. And Marshall. It's wave after wave here of Crusaders. As a nice pass by Chris Jack. Laulala gets one from McCaw. Fights his way down. They're 10 out from the 22. And Marshall again. Mertens looking for a gap. Got it off nicely to Vunan Barker. And Vunan Barker, they're trying to get him across the touchline. Can't quite do it though. Larkham in the tackle now is Flynn.
Okay, last feet now, come back.
That's the 22 as Mertens has another go. I haven't seen Andrew Mertens take the line on quite so often as he has tonight.
He sort of had to because of the defence that's up so quick.
Marshall goes again, Brad Thorne. Major, Vunan Barker's got himself across on the far side. Everybody's keen to get their hands on the ball now. The Crusaders, they've got 14 minutes to go. Richie McCaw.
So it's 10 phases. Still marching forward, Crusaders.
Here's Mertens, spins out of one. Lovely pass. Laulala. Marshall left it behind. Well, it was knocked on by the Brumbies. So the Crusaders carry on. Marshall fights out of one. Slipped the pass to Flynn. He has a go at the line. Again, they're close. Here's Brad Thorne having a crack. Gerard calling the troops over.
Stolen on the line, was it?
Fine, pull it over. Carrying it over. Red ball.
5-metre scrum.
Bit of a scrap off the ball. Nothing much coming of it.
I mean, we saw in the lead-up 2 or 3 of those little rucks and mauls close to the line, just how good the Brumbies are at slowing the ball down through various means, but they do it so well.
Well, that was interesting. Just away from play about 15 metres was Marshall and Finnegan having a little tete-a-tete. Well, this was very close. That's the goal line you see right there. Just imagine how this game would change if the Crusaders scored 2 quick converted tries. That would throw the cat amongst the pigeons.
You're right, it would.
Well, the Crusaders amongst the Brumbies.
I can't play with 14 for blood, gentlemen.
Look at that, 99 to 37.
Going to be a bloodman required here with Mark Bartholomew, who's likely to come on for Stephen Larkham. I think he might be bleeding, so he'll have to get off. Bartholomew's another one who's heading away off to the UK at the end of this season.
Not required just at the moment. Larkham has recovered and will stay on. So, big 5-metre scrum here as the Crusaders try and organise something from back, a rolling maul.
Well, it was a planned move, all right. Brumbies stood up, set it up. 2 or 3 backs went in to start the maul. It's been effective.
Big chance here if they can get it to the line. And they do get it close to the line and over the line. Andre Watson has a bit of a look.
Well, Andre Watson.
He's not sure. I think he might ask Mark Lawrence here to make a call for him.
Mark, is this for you?
Well, you couldn't say he's knocked down on the job. Andre Watson, he was right down there, in amongst it, smelling the liniment.
Grounding, please.
Now, let's see as they unfold who might have got this try. Brad Thorne is there.
But nobody was screaming though, Nisbo, were they? No one was putting their hand up.
They don't look all that excited, the Crusaders.
No one's going back to halfway.
Brad Thorne is over the top. There's another player, I think, with the ball.
Andre gave himself every chance. Nice slide into position.
There's a little bit of a look here, maybe. Oh, no, the touch judging away. Can't see that.
No, this will be a struggle for Mark Lawrence. He's got to find the ball first.
Everybody trying to find it, I think. Even the referee, look at that. Get in there. Get down.
Sliding into first.
Chris King, I think, 17. He's the man who took the ball to the line, but whether he's grounded it or not, I think you'd have to say that it's not clear. So one would imagine we'll go back for a 5-metre scrum once Mark Lawrence has relayed that decision.
So held up over the goal line, is that the probable call, I would imagine?
That's the closest you could got to seeing the ball, that angle there, but boy, really hard to know whether there's a ball in there or one of those white boots.
Players tend to know, and Crusaders would have gone back to halfway, I think.
No animation at all.
No. I just want to see the grounding.
Oh, even just in the middle there, though, Nisbo.
Yeah, looked promising, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Then it sort of disappeared.
Okay. Thank you. Can I go?
Yeah.
Thank you.
He's going to give it.
He is too. I think the Crusaders are surprised, but they'll take it. And he did it on that last call. And Chris King has got a big try. And I tell you what, the Crusaders are storming back into this.
How's the ebb and flow, Murray?
Well, it is. There is the ebb and flow, without a doubt. It was all the Brumbies in the first quarter of an hour. Then it swung back Crusaders' way. And, of course, started with the Brumbies again after half-time. And now it's back to the Crusaders, but it's still 14 points in arrears.
Well, they're showing their real mettle now, the Crusaders, as you expected them to. Now, here's the conversion attempt by Carter, and it's on song. So suddenly it's 40 points to 28. They're a couple of tries away.
2 converted tries in 11 minutes. Do we have any odds on that, Nisbo?
Could easily happen.
I tell you what, if they do, the TAB will take a hammering.
They will indeed. More changes in the Crusaders.
Yes.
Sorry, the Brumbies.
Yeah, Rathbone, who really hasn't got into this game at all, he's off. And Scott Favour, one of the most underrated players in the Brumbies team, they have left the field.
Another long kick.
Flynn wants this. Takes it easily. Good burst by Corey Flynn. He's got stronger as the game has progressed.
Last feet wide.
Now they clear it off. Mertens.
He puts it very close to the touchline.
Taken down by Tawaki, yes.
Yeah, well, they wanted to get him into touch, the Crusaders. They achieved that. Gave him a line out and a quick throw.
And away they go. McCaw. They've certainly got the momentum going now, the Crusaders. Have they got the time to do it?
Oh, good pass.
Now Lala. Inside Brumbies territory they go. Very close to the touchline, but it's okay. So far the flag not up. It's there for Justin Marshall. Clears it off for the try scorer, Chris King. Now Marshall goes again. Out to centre field for McCaw, who's had a wow of a game. Been so powerful with the ball in hand tonight. Marshall again. Mertens. The skipper, Reuben Thorne.
Taking it to the line.
Marshall looks blindside. The handling has been so good in the second half.
They'll have to go open now.
The retention of possession. Somerville. This time it's better defence by the Brumbies.
Oh, good defence.
But Somerville still has it.
Oh, turnover.
No, he hasn't. Turned over. So Smith spins out of the tackle. Then he gets his pass away. Chance here now for Bartholomew's. He's playing advantage. George Gregan looking to get there in a hurry. Advantage still there. Roth couldn't get his kick away. Now Smith. Here goes Bartholomew's. He's got support from Joe Roth. And that might be the one that does it. Joe Roth. He sets a new record. This is boys' own stuff. Joe Roth sets a new Super 12 try-scoring record, and probably enough to give the Brumbies the title.
Well, it's a fitting climax for a great rugby player. He has been a wonderful rugby player for the Brumbies. Deserves the record. So often the man in the right spot. Well, they love him here. And didn't they go berserk when he scored? Because everybody in this ground knew that was the nail in the coffin. That's the trophy. unless something extraordinary happened in the last 7 minutes and 53 seconds.
Look at the determination on Jeremy Paul's face, leading the drive, and there the turnover came just after that. Bartholomew's showing good speed.
Oh, he's delighted Joe off. Doesn't show a lot of emotion on the field.
They realised how important that was. There was a real danger of the Crusaders getting back, maybe even stealing it. Not now.
Roth to convert his own try. 47 points to 28. And not even the most optimistic Crusaders supporter can expect the Crusaders to bounce back here in 7 minutes. It's been a gutsy fight back, though.
I reckon there'll be a few Cantabrians that would still favour them.
47-28. They've gone quickly with the restart, claimed by Giffen. High-scoring final against all expectations. 7 tries to the Brumbies, 4 to the Crusaders.
No, he's okay. He was on the ball initially.
Now it's Gregan. Larkham. Major has an easy one to deal with here. Now they've just got to try and bring it back. Here's Justin Marshall. Appealing for a bit of shepherding there. Marshall keeps going and gets flattened. Well, he's not happy.
Well, Rathbone's come off the bench here.
This is unsightly. Players off the bench. They've got no part of it.
Marshall's claiming, I think, that someone's had a go at his eyes.
George Gregan, his old mate, was there.
Straight shot.
Okay, players having a dust up on the sidelines, one thing, but people coming off the bench, you're getting into a whole new area.
I didn't see the point of contact, but number 9 reacted to the tackle.
Yeah, he
had a better angle of. I was I couldn't see.
He went down in it.
Point of contact.
I was quite happy with the point of contact.
Okay, so there was just an overreaction afterwards.
Yeah, by
the tackle. Well, obviously he felt it was high.
Okay.
Number 9 red.
All right. You want me to
see the point of contact?
Point of contact? I'm happy with. Okay.
Just an overreaction.
I want the other.
Yeah.
Okay. You want me to penalise him?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay. And just a bollocking, just to talk. Yeah. No punches, nothing. Thank you. Number 9. Quite understand that you thought it was high. It wasn't. You went down in it. Just an overreaction. You're moving in 15 metres. Penalty against you. All right, let's go. Go back.
Well, it was a little bit high, but certainly a reaction from Marshall. And I think probably about a fair decision, really.
He hasn't hit him. In fact, the closest anyone's come to a slap was Gerard. And what's Rathbone doing there?
Give it a it's on the 15.
Well, he was trying to hold him, though, wasn't he?
Well, he's got no place in it at all.
Come on,
So it's unfortunate. It's unsightly. He's such a competitive bloke, Justin Marshall. And he'd be feeling disappointment, too, that this final is gone. He gives it all, as we saw last week in the semi-final.
It wouldn't be the right way for the game to finish.
So there's going to be a shot at goal here from Matt Giddo.
Well, if he kicks it, it'll take the score to 50 points. Who would have thought? 47-28. What a score in a final of the Super 12.
The 1996 final, the Blues ran up 45 points against Natal. Here's the kick from Giddo. Well wide of the mark. So this is a record total of points in a final. 47 by the Brumbies tonight. Crusaders, though, played their part in this game. Any team down by 33-0 who can come back and score 28 points. They've got a lot of heart and a lot of soul. We know the Crusaders have that, but they just haven't quite made it tonight. They'll be hugely disappointed. They're going to try to the end, though. Laulala. Just around 7 minutes to go. Finnegan pops in. He's a mile offside.
Okay, go from the side.
Here goes Chris King. Not back the 10 metres, the Brumbies. Marshall frees his pass up for Chris Jack, who's surprisingly quick for a big man. Now he lays it back. Marshall again. Little kick and chase from Major, but claimed ahead of him by Gerard. But the referee
10, fellows, 10.
was playing an advantage.
10.
Still pretty willing. Here's Andrew Mertens having a go. Broken through a few tackles tonight.
Positive, roll away. Get away.
Well, he's been used as a battering ram, Richie McCaw today.
Let it go.
More like a number 8 than an open side flanker.
Now Marshall trying to kick it through. Again, it bounces off and it's been claimed by Smith. Got his pass away to Larkham. Now it's in turn gone to Ralph. He turns it back to Marshall. Justin Marshall has a go. Back for Flynn as they get to within 10 metres, the Crusaders. Mertens now works it back on the inside.
Oh, good defence.
Advantage, slay it up, roll away.
Brumbies player lying all over the ball, but it's going to come back anyway.
On the ground there, please.
Going to score a try, they must. And they do.
Try, thanks, okay.
Casey Laulala gets his name in the scorebook as well.
Well, you've got to give these guys some credit. The heart from this Crusaders side. I mean, they were done like a dinner at 33-0. And they're not going to win it, but boy, they have just kept trying desperately to get points on the board.
No?
Well, it was back and forth. Both teams took a part at one stage. The Brumbies counter-attack. George Smith it was. George Smith. And looking at the turnovers, 23 turnovers by the Brumbies. That's extraordinary to the 10 Crusaders. Well, he just slid over the line, Lau. The impetus.
Carter's conversion from the sideline.
Off the upright.
So 47 points to 33. And more changes. All the Brumbies are going to get a go now.
Yeah, Henjack on for George Gregan. And even Lenny Beckett's having a run this boat.
Lenny Beckett, yeah, sounds like a stock car driver.
Jeremy Pauloff as well, David Pallavi on. You know, there's one bloke who deserves to be down there shaking hands and he's not, and that's the coach.
Yeah, this is, well, I mean, we've been through it before. They're going to win the Super 12 final and sack the coach. Fantastic.
Seems extraordinary.
Can't argue with the result though in the end.
No. The coach is always the first one to get the archer when things don't go right. Boy, when they do go right, it still goes. 3 minutes remaining in the Super 12 season of 2004. Mertens quickly. They'll keep running all day, the Crusaders. Wonderful heart in the second half. They really have dominated the second half. Chris Jack has a bit of a go. Carter tries to fire it behind him. And not out yet.
They start a more from the touchline.
King fires it off. Mertens way out into centre field for Brad Thorne, who's been big, strong and powerful in the second half.
Turnover Brumbies.
Enjack. Ball wasn't there for the pass. Now it's back with Ghetto. And he'll turn the Crusaders round. Heartbreaking stuff.
Oh, great kick. Great kick. Quick one.
They're going to run it again right from their own line. Away goes Justin Marshall. Gets it off to Broomhall.
Now they're counting down the clock, the Brumbies.
The ground clock says time is up. Haven't had the siren yet. Crusaders still battling on against the odds. Marshall to Brad Thorne. Back now for Laulala. Just looking to find a gap, and now they've found one as Ralph pops his pass up for Carter. King.
From the side.
Penalty coming. Still no siren as the referee plays more advantage. Still coming, the Crusaders. Now Major. Ruben Thorne.
Let it go, White. Let it go, White.
12 metres in Brumbies territory.
Try to take it to 47-40. That'll be a great finish.
Crowd screaming out for the final whistle to go, but the Crusaders are not happy to leave it at 47-33. Brad Thorne has been enormous in the second half. Here they come again. And this tells us a lot about the way the Crusaders play, just with pure heart. As Jack hands it off. And the kick through, and this will be a try to finish. And it's scored by Dan Carter, the season's leading scorer in Super 12. And, well, they haven't ruined the party. They've just put a little bit of a dampener on it, and good on them.
Well, I don't think there's too many people really in this grandstand that begrudge the Crusaders scoring that try. I mean, they've saved face more so. They've showed their resolve and their determination. Not good enough on the night. The Brumbies certainly deserve it. They're a great side. But a great fight back.
How important was that try by Joe Roth at the end? We'd be sitting on... I was going to say it'd be sitting on 40 all if this conversion goes over, but it doesn't. And so the game is over. The Brumbies have won the Super 12 title in 2004. They led 33-0 at one stage, and they finished up victors by 47 points to 38.
Well, one would look at the scoreboard and think the game must have been frivolous, but it's been anything but that. It was an incredible start by the Brumbies. They just nailed those tries, 5 in a row. And then the Crusaders, they fought back. The strategy changed. They kept hold of possession. Rucks and balls favoured them. But after half-time, the Brumbies came back again. They scored that try, oh so crucial try, the psychology of it. The Crusaders didn't give up. They fought back and back and back and back right to the last. But they were just too little too late, I guess, and the Brumbies certainly deserved it. They've been the form team of this competition. They've run the ball wide, they've used the depth, they've used their backs, they've scored some fantastic tries. They've played the final at home, they were a top qualifier, and I think they deserve to take the honours.
The most incredible of finals, tries all over the place. But the Brumbies in the finish have done the job in 2004. They remain unbeaten here in Canberra, and they lift the trophy, beating the Crusaders 47-38. Just look at the delight, and I guess a lot of people will be turning to see where the coach is. Where is the coach in all these celebrations? A lot of emotion here because so many players leaving.
Well, it's been a great example to world rugby in some respects. The creation of a team from nothing, absolutely nothing. When I look at the players who took the field tonight, the starting lineup, only one player was born here in Canberra. Stephen Larkin is his name. The creation of a side, a mighty side. The succession plan for a period of time, but the key, I think, is the nucleus remained.
Let's not forget the part that the Crusaders have played in this game, and a friendly chat at the end. Justin Marshall and Andre Watson.
Yeah, perhaps unacceptable by some arseholes.
But while the Brumbies certainly deserve the plaudits, what a wonderful effort by the Crusaders to be down by 33 points to 0 and to claw their way back.
Well, a comeback of giant proportions.
Now let's hear from Owen Finnegan.
That was just lip-reading stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah, unfortunately, technically things not working too well, so we'll try and fix that fairly shortly. Interesting to hear from some of the key figures in tonight's game here in Canberra.
Well, the crowd remains in this stadium. Nobody's leaving. Delighted, of course. Absolutely delighted. What a change in this ground from 10 years ago or 9 years ago when the Super 12 started.
Well, no sign of the interview, unfortunately, at the moment, so we'll leave you just briefly with the news that the Brumbies have won the title, 47 points to 38.